Okay, to create the sheet. Now, before we get to the sheet, there's a few things that I want to still clarify and make sure that we are doing correctly. For example, our wall locations. Remember, on our wall locations, we talked about the fact that we needed to get rid of all the fractions, and you really start with the overall size of the house first. Make sure that that is no fractions of an inch. Everything's to the nearest inch. So, like here, for example, this one's 56 feet. This one's 55 feet. So that will take care of that. And then whenever you dimension, you're going to dimension from the outside core boundary to the outside core boundary on the exterior. Okay. Now, on the interior, you're going to be kind of mixing up a couple of different things. Now, the thing though, it's whenever you're dimensioning on the interior, we're going to go from outside to outside here. Okay. But when you go to the interior walls, you're going to pick, like going left and right in this direction, you're going to pick one side of the wall and stay with that side of the wall. So, because if not, then you're going to start having fractions because the fact that if you consider the wall thickness, it's not exactly to the nearest inch. It's like 4.5 inches or something like that. So if you dimension to one side and then to the other side from here to here, you're going to have that little issue of the wall thickness that's going to mess up with your dimensions. So the thing though is that when you go from the exterior on the outside dimensions from exterior to exterior, that'll give you your overall dimensions. But then when you start going to the interior walls, you're going to go from exterior, and then you pick either the left or right side of the wall. So in this case, I'm going to go with the left side. So once I dimension to the left, will be from outside to the left, left to left, and then left to the outside. This is not going to be to the left side. It's going to be to the outside because this is the exterior wall. Okay. It's a little confusing, but once you start putting the dimensions, it should be a little bit easier to understand. So, and that's how I get this one here. And of course, this dimension from this left side of the wall to the outside is the 21.7. So we have an example here of a wall that is not. That, remember how we said um, from outside to left and left to outside. So you notice this is the wall that needs to get moved. Now, be careful. A lot of students look at this and say, "Oh, let me fix this wall," and they go and start doing this thing. Okay, so be careful with that because it's going to fix this dimension, but now everything else over here got mixed up or messed up. Okay. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. In other words, once you have these walls established, it's just a matter of knowing which one am I moving. So this one is fixed, and I want to leave it fixed. So to fix this dimension, I'm not going to select this wall. What I'm going to select is actually this wall. And as a matter of fact, you can kind of see both of the dimensions get highlighted because I can now adjust both of these because this is the one that I'm fixing. So everything else out here should not move. So it's just a matter of keeping track of which wall is going to be moved to adjust them. So this one here is we're going to put this one at 18 space 1. And then you can see that we got rid of that dimension, the fraction, and we're good. And everything still stays at 55 feet. Okay. Once again, you want to be careful because if I go from outside to left, when I dimension, that's fine. But then if I forget and I go from the right to the outside, you notice that we have that fraction again. And it's again because it's considering the thickness of the wall. So don't do that. Just be careful. And when you dimension, you pick one side and it doesn't have to be the left side. It could be the right also. But the thing, just like here, I can probably show you this here. If I go from outside to the right core boundary, see, but that's the problem is if I go to the right and then from the right to the outside, so I'll have that half-inch issue. So here, then I would have to fix this one, 18.4. But then if I'm dimensioning to the right, then I will not have these. I'll have dimensions from the outside to the right side of the wall and then from the right side to the outside. Okay. So it just depends on which one you want to do. But once you pick one side of the wall, stick with that side. Okay. My preference is the left. I don't know why. I just prefer the left. Okay. Same thing with the walls going this way. So here, for example, I have these walls. This is already fixed at 56 feet. So I start placing my dimensions and make sure you understand. You're placing them at the face of the core, by the way, and then it's going to be from the outside face of the core to the bottom side of the wall. Okay, so we got that fraction from bottom to bottom here, and then from the bottom to the outside, right there. Okay, so we have a few walls to adjust. Okay, once again, don't select this one because if I select this one, I'm going to do this on purpose because it's wrong. It'll fix this dimension, but now we have this overall dimension that we have an issue with because I adjusted the outside wall. So don't do that. The one that needs to really get adjusted, oops, I undid too many times. The one that needs to get adjusted is the inside walls. You basically leave the outside alone because it's pretty much fixed. So this one, I'm going to fix this wall here. And of course, you got to be careful because sometimes you get this kind of thing. So you just got to select it, and then which one am I going to pick or select? It's going to be this one right in here. That's the one I'm going to fix. 15 space 10. Okay. And then notice it fixes that one. Everything stays here at 56 feet. And then here, either one, I can select this one, and then that guy right there is going to go to 14 space 3. And we got rid of all the fractions. Okay. So just a matter of keeping track of which walls to adjust. Okay. So now to creating the sheet. Now on this project, we already created a sheet. If I go over here on the project browser and I go to sheets, we already created one, if you may remember. That's the one I had you guys print when we were going to try to print, customize and sketch our house, but we're not going to be doing that right now. So at this point, just take this one, right click and delete this sheet. We don't need this one. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to create a new sheet. The thing though is that you're going to have to do this. Let me just show you. The thing though, I don't have the sheet that I want. I want one of our customized title blocks. So it's not on the list and it's not here either. So I actually have it for you on the Google Classroom. So on the Google Classroom, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the assignment. You're going to go to the adjusted deadline customs assignment, click on that one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this file. You're going to click on that file. That's our Seasize Career Center Riverside architecture. And you're going to download it. Okay. You're going to download that file. And then once it downloads, you just simply click on open it. Okay. And what it's going to do, it's going to open, it's going to really open up another project. It's going to open up another little tab of your architecture. Okay. So the title block, I'm sorry. So it's going to open up a little tab. But what's happening is that this is the family editor. If you were going to edit the title block, this is where you go and edit it. But we don't have to edit it. You basically just leave it alone. The only reason I'm having you open it is because that way you open it within the project and then you're going to load it into the project. Okay. You can load into project or load in project and close. Either what it does is that if I just click load into project, it loads it to our custom home project right in here. And it'll give you all kinds of messages and stuff. But all I'm doing, once again, is just simply loading it into the project. Okay. And by loading into the project, now when I go to Sheets All, right click New Sheet, you'll actually see it on the list. Okay. I don't know mine put a 1 in there, but now it'll be part of the list. And then you hit OK. And then that's how it creates the sheet. But the other button, just to show you, load into project, it just simply loads it into the database of the project. Load into project and close is just simply going to close this tab for us. Okay. Of course, it's still just loaded into the project. You're not going to see anything magical yet. Not until you right click on the sheets, all, new sheet. We're going to use the Seasize CCR architecture title block that I created for us. Hit OK. And there's our title block. And then you're going to go and grab the level 1 floor plan. That's the one you've been putting all your dimensions on. Okay. And I'm going to go back over here to sheets A102, A102, I'm sorry. And then the way you get the view on there is you press and hold. You go back to the floor plan view. Don't double click on it. You just simply press, hover over it, press and hold with your mouse, and drag it onto the sheet. And then once you're here in the middle, you release it, and you'll see that this is kind of the overall view of the level 1, and then I just click and place it. Okay. Of course, there's some other information on here that I don't want to see. So let me take this time to show you how to work with that. Also, it's really working with the viewports. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to level 1. And in here, there's actually a viewport that's kind of represented with this rectangle right in here. So under here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what's called the crop region. I'm going to click here and show crop region. Okay. And then when I show the crop region, what I'm going to do, so you're going to turn on the crop region. which is this little button right in here. And the crop region, if you want to make a reference to AutoCAD, it's kind of like a viewport. So what this region does, it's because what we could have done, just to let you know, is we could have highlighted these, right click and hide in view. We could do that, and I could just hide everything in that category and hide this. But let me just show you another trick because you already know how to do that. At least I hope you know how to do that. And by the way, if you ever hide stuff and you want to bring it back, you hit the little button right in here to reveal hidden elements, and then you select right click on hide and view anything in that category. That's how you can bring it back in case you ever hit it. But let me just show you another technique, and it's kind of like having to do with the view. Well, it's called a crop region. It's an AutoCAD references a viewport. When you show the crop region, you can actually select the crop region and you can make it smaller. And what happens is that anything outside the crop region is not going to be visible, kind of like a viewport. Okay. The only other thing that would happen there that you got to be careful of or aware of is there's another button next to it that will not only this is the hiding because we will hide it here in a little bit, but there's another one in here next to it that says do not crop view. And if you click on that one on, even if you have your crop region here, anything outside the crop region will still show if I have this option turned on or off. Okay, so just make sure you are aware of that because sometimes they're going to mess with your mind and you're messing with the crop region and it still doesn't turn anything off. It might be that your crop view has been turned on or off. Okay, and then once again, once you have your crop region adjusted and made bigger or smaller, um, you just simply turn it off. Go in there and turn it off because we don't need it. We don't need to see it. Just like in View AutoCAD, except in AutoCAD we do it with layers and we create a no plot layer. So we go back over here to the sheet. You can kind of see that now we have this part of the sheet that we can work with. We should go with a bigger scale. I think I've been recommending to some of you guys to use a quarter inch of a foot, quarter of an inch equals a foot. Except this one, it's a little snug. It should fit. But worst case, just find another scale that works. You always want to try to get it to work within those scales, and this is not too bad. The text isn't too bad in here, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay. And then to get this thing to move in here, which is just like your little marker that shows the name of the level one and then the scale, you kind of select the view here, and then you drag, you make this little line smaller because you're going to need to see that big, and then you just simply press and hold this guy and move it into the view, into the sheet. Okay, and there we go. There's still a lot more things that and I'm telling you right now we still need to do, but at this point, just simply go back to the level one viewport. We really should be using room tags and everything, but at this point, let's just use text so we can put some text in there. Use the text at a 330 seconds text height, and then start putting in your room names, and living room sizes. I'm sorry, living room door sizes. I need you to label all that as much as you can of all that, and then that's what we're going to be turning in for a PDF. Now, to create the PDF, before we get too far, we need to go in here and edit some information in here. Let's call this one sheet A101. Check by is who is checking it, and that's Mr. Torres. I'm the one that's going to be checking it. Drawn by, that's you. You're the author, so you just put your full name in there. That way, I know who created it. The issue date, we'll just go date it the day you're going to be creating this um, PDF. We don't have a project number, but if you just want to make up a number that looks pretty cool, just make it look like that so it looks official. Project name. For this one, if you can, go ahead and use the address of your property. Let's say it's 112 Dos Palmas. And then we'll put the address there. And then what is this sheet? This is the sheet name, so we're going to call this one our floor plan. Okay. And everything else is pretty much set. We don't really have to change anything else. It pretty much stays like it is. And then to create the PDF, once we're done with this one, you're going to go to File, Export, and PDF. So you can create the PDF directly from here. You go to PDF. There are some settings you have to deal with, so just kind of please pay attention. You're going to print the current view. it's going to create this file name, and it's going to put, and also pay attention where it's going to place it. It's going to put it in my documents folder. So I'm going to rename this one floor plan. Okay, but again, it's going to put it on my documents folder. Unless you want to put it somewhere else, I just need to know where it's at, because you need to go and look for it there to submit it to the Google Classroom. Okay, so we're going to go through here. We're going to change the file name. You're going to put the location, something different, or just where it's at. Page size, we're going to go to an architectural C 18 by 24. We're going to zoom 100%. And then everything else pretty much stays the same. We don't really have to change anything else other than the sheet size, zoom 100%, the location of the file, and the name of the file, and export. Do I want to save this? You could if you want to. I'm not. Create the view PDF. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now to find the PDF, here we go again. It's a matter of finding the files. Where are they? So in my case, it put it on the documents and it called it custom. There it is, custom home floor plan. So now I know where to go to submit my file. But just to show you, let me double click on here just to show you what the file looks like. And that's what our PDF is going to be. And that's what you're going to be submitting for a grade by the deadline of our final exam. Okay. Pretty nice looking PDF. Let me know if you have any questions.